To the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS podcast with hosts Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Live show here for Friday's 14-game main slate. James, ending the week, biggest slate of the week, 14 games, man. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. It's a great day to be great. It's my wife's birthday today. Happy birthday, Bree.
Yeah.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
My birthday is tomorrow. That is
no
true.
No stream tomorrow. So everyone, make sure you hop in the old comment section and wish John a big happy 45th. Because tomorrow John turns 45.
Yeah.
It's a headed to the beach after this, John. Like, again, it's a great day to be great. We got 14 games of baseball. We got FIBA basketball at 4 a.m. tomorrow. USA getting a big win Thursday, nice and early Friday morning. So Canada losing. I mean, it's been what a day today, John.
Bruno Caboclo finally 2 years away from being 2 years away is today. You know, he's
5 years too late. 5 years late. 5
years too late, but he's ready to rock. So,
yep.
A lot of great things obviously happening here at Fantasy Alarm. It's also Fantasy Football Draft Weekend.
Yep.
So we got that going on for us as well. Everybody, get a copy of your Fantasy Football Draft Guide today. I don't know if this is the right link. It is. You go ahead and you can sign up. Go to fantasyalarm.com/draft guide. You can get your draft guide for free when you get an all-pro subscription. Comes with the cheat sheet as well. So don't go into your draft underprepared. Get the always up-to-date Fantasy Football Draft Guide and cheat sheet. If you bought that magazine off the rack, like I said, they still got DeAndre Hopkins on the Arizona Cardinals. Dalvin Cook is still playing for the Minnesota Vikings. Jonathan Taylor's like your RB3. Jeff Wilson's atop of the Miami Dolphins depth chart. There's a whole lot of things there in those off-the-shelf draft guides. We're not here at Fantasy Alarm. Howard Bender, even while fishing, is updating the cheat sheet and draft guide, getting everybody to dominate their drafts here this weekend. So take advantage of today's offer. Get the 7-day free trial when you sign up and go into your fantasy football drafts and draft like a champion, as the logo says there on the screen. So, again, a lot of great things going on here to kick us off into the weekend, including a little real-time fantasy sports. rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users will get a 100% deposit match up to $200. You can take part in their best ball, fantasy football, and fantasy football championship contest still going on right now, along with their DFS Pick'em contest. You can use that deposit match to enter some of those, have an opportunity to win a $500,000 grand prize if you enter their fantasy football championship. But for today, James and I are going to bring you some of our favorite DFS Pick'em plays on rtsports.com. So let's get to it. Taking a look here at the RT Sports DFS Pick'em board, James. Let's just go chalk. Let's go to the Toronto game with the Colorado Rockies. Chris Flexen is on the mound here for Colorado. I think we have to go George Springer 1.5 total bags here.
Yeah, I mean, you could have probably chose anybody, right?
Yeah. Vladdy. Springer, I think he just gets it done with one swing of the bat. Yep. Flexen is allowing an over 600 slugging percentage and over 400 WOBA to right-handed hitters. We know Springer's been on a little bit of a hot run there for a little bit here. You could game stack this one if you wanted to plug the Vladdy fantasy scores at 6.5.
I do.
I mean, that just like double it up, get your action in on this game here because Chris Flexen doesn't get you or I out there today if we were in course. So I'm ready to rock some Blue Jays tonight.
Yeah, there's a reason, and not to discredit what's going on in the KBO because there's a lot of top tier talent over there, but there's a reason why Chris Flexen was out of baseball and out of professional baseball and in the KBO, right? Or out of Major League Baseball, I should say. He never left professional baseball. So love those plays. I'm going to go to Pittsburgh. I'm going to look at our boy Mitch Keller, who continues his hot stretch here against the Cardinals. We know the Cardinals have been, better against left-handed pitching up and down their lineup. Over 5 strikeouts for Mitch Keller, something he's been doing quite often lately. And, I think we're going to get a big outing. 6-12, 7 strikeouts the last 3 starts. Coincidentally, when he kind of turned his season back around.
Mm-hmm.
So Mitch Keller more than 5 strikeouts. Right?
I like it. Let's go to Boston, Kansas City here. Got a matchup with Paxton and Lyles, both on the mound here. There's a certain somebody that has been really, really good for most of this year. I like to affectionately call him Bobby W. His name is Bobby Witt Jr. We're going to go 1.5 total bags here for Mr. Bobby W. going up against James Paxton. Guy has a 233 ISO against left-handed pitching, hitting over 300. Paxton could be wearing down as the season goes on. The last couple starts have been a little rough for the people. So 10x your money here tonight. George Springer, more than 1.5 total bags. Vlad Guerrero, more than the 6.5 fantasy points. Mitch Keller, more than 5 Ks. Bobby W, more than 1.5 total bags. They are over at RT Sports. Go 10x your money there today. Go to rtsports.com/alarm. Promo code alarm23 when you sign up. Scan the QR code. New users get that 100% deposit match with their first deposit. James, main event time here. Let's take a look at the DraftKings board. Bringing it on over for the people. We got 14 games. Far too many for me to screenshot and put on a graphic. So let's just talk about. That's not going to do it. That one's not going to work. There we go. For the Vegas lines and totals, what are we looking at today, sir?
Let's pull up our good friends over at covers.com, John, and let's take a look at what we got going on. Biggest favorite on the board, let's see, Hyunjin Ryu and the Toronto Blue Jays, the only ones dipping their toes into the -200s. Boston's right behind. Tampa Bay is right behind. Let's see what we got for an over-under. 12.5 or 12 in some sports books for the Coors Field game. We have 9.5 implied runs in Baltimore, Arizona. 10 implied runs in Boston, Kansas City. And that's it. That's notable over-unders. I think it is worth, mentioning that it is 10 implied in that Boston, Kansas City open at 9.5. And, there could be a lot of runs in that game, given the pitching matchup we have there. So that's really all we have on the Vegas front.
Yeah, works for me. Let's just jump into it because we have 14 games to get to. We got to break down the positions, give our Call of Fame calls of the day, and get a lineup out to the people. Thanks to all of you tuning in, though, here. I see Mark in chat. I see Faisal in chat. No Kevin Biggio. No Craig Biggio either, but no Kevin Biggio in the lineup tonight either.
No, Craig. If Craig Biggio made his appearance,
I'll tell you this:
how many hits would he have against Flexen?
It wouldn't even matter. He could do it soon enough for Houston. Listen, we'll go over it. A lot of the value plays that I was hopeful for today, not playing. So that was it's a little hurtful to the lineup, but willing to see if we can attack and find some more values. Mark saying the Springer play was 1.5. I swore I saw total bags, but whatever. I'll still ride the 1.5 hits. We're here to go. Mike wants to know, how do we translate the 6.5 fantasy score into DraftKings or FanDuel? I would think you're probably better off doing the hits, runs, and RBIs. I think they have them at 2.5 tonight. Could certainly go in that direction. You could also see what his RBI props is tonight as well. Could look at what his total bags prop is. I think those are the 3 I would attack when it comes to Vladdy's betting props for the evening for sure. Again, flexing 400 WOBA, 600 slugging to righties on the year. So willing to run it out there. Everybody in Toronto against him. We'll focus on pitching here, though, for a little bit. You guys, thanks for tuning in. If you have those questions in chat, we'll be happy to help you out. Top price guys on the slate: Glasnow, Scherzer, Wheeler, Peralta, top guys up over $10,000. Glasnow and Scherzer are two guys that Vegas definitely likes here. How are you prioritizing the top four?
I think it's those two if I were to,
Sure.
pick any of them. Wheeler and Peralta have been good, but so have the offenses behind them, and they now face each other. So I'll stick with the Glasnow Scherzer tier of pitchers. Obviously, 11K and 11.2 are very expensive, and it's tough to get to, especially with some of the value plays you mentioned, no longer on the board, and Toronto priced up essentially outside of like the catcher position. So I like Glasnow. I like Scherzer. Scherzer probably has the higher ceiling in this spot because of strikeouts. I think that's safe to say, just based on the matchup that they have. Like one of them's facing Minnesota, one of them's facing Cleveland. That's could not be more polar opposite of offenses. So I probably lean Scherzer to Glasnow, but I think both are
Yep, I'm
more
with you
than
there.
adequate tonight.
But when we did do the show this morning, we kind of were leaning a little bit towards the guys just below them. Verlander and Senga. Verlander against New York. We've talked about New York struggles all season long against right-handed pitching. Verlander seemingly had the Yankees' numbers this year. And then Dan Servidillo pointed out Verlander, when the pitching in Houston, dating back to last season, some pretty dominant numbers there in Houston for him. So Verlander sitting there at $9,800. Then Kodai Senga. I'm a little bit more worried about this spot for him now that J-Rod is in the lineup. There was some questions as to whether or not he was or wasn't going to play today. Still, so Vegas kind of likes Senga tonight in this spot with the strikeout totals. He's obviously been very good at home, but I feel like, the way Rodriguez has been playing right now, he's just been a little bit of a game changer. I feel a lot more comfortable rostering Verlander over Senga at this point.
Yeah. The J-Rod thing is definitely interesting because Kodai Senga is the highest rostered pitcher of the slate, at least projected. It's not by a lot, but he is. And then to the Verlander thing, is it at all does it at all worry you that the Yankees are calling up Justin Dominguez and Austin Wells? They're two of their top prospects today. One's hitting fifth, one's hitting seventh. Is that at all anything?
Not really.
That we should be worrying about.
Like they're the Yankees' top prospects, but they're not like the top prospect, right? Like Justin was top 25, top 30.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. I mean, he's very good. He's hitting fifth tonight. He's had a really good, like really good stretch in AAA before the call up. And Wells is a good hitting catcher as well. So I'm not like necessarily advocating for the Yankees. I'm just more so asking.
We're looking at this data based off of the Yankees lineup that isn't really the same Yankees lineup that it's been. So there certainly could be some of that, but I still would lean Verlander against two guys making their major league debut. I mean, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He knows how to pitch, which is helpful as well. The moment could be there. They're on the road. So now I get the call-ups and the prospect that Justin Dominguez is. I mean, they've been talking about him since they signed him like 6 years ago. So when he was 12, so I get it, but I don't think this is the spot to worry about. So for me, Verlander feels pretty safe. Again, I did the playbook today. I didn't really have much interest in like the rest of this tier. So if there's anybody else that you wanted to highlight, we can talk about it. But the next couple guys I wanted to talk about were low AKs.
I mean, if there was anything like that caught my eye in a little bit, Eduardo Rodriguez does catch my eye against the White Sox. We have to worry about a couple guys. We worry about Luis Robert, and I guess Eloy Jimenez, but he hasn't been that great against left-handed pitching, just a 150 ISO, 325 WOBA. It's really Luis Robert and then everyone else in this lineup. And, I am highly, highly, highly infatuated with the Yuri Perez prospect. Like, dude, he's just an elite pitching prospect. And he's flashing. We've obviously graduated from pitching prospect to like just good MLB pitcher that's going to be great for a pretty long time. 17 scoreless innings. one of those games was 6 scoreless against the Dodgers, and this is in the middle of Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman stretch that they've been on, and then one of them was against this Washington team
Right.
just 5 days ago. So, there has obviously been 2 meetings with Washington this year. Yuri Perez, 11 innings, 1 run, 13-2 strikeout to walk ratio. Like, he's beat them. He's looked great against them twice this year. So I'd be willing to get there. We saw last night. I know Braxton Garrett didn't strike anyone out, but Washington can be really bad offensively, right? They just get blanked. So I would definitely have interest in Yuri Perez, probably as the only other name in this tier.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to argue too much with you. Washington, as we mentioned, lineups changing. They've had some guys in and out due to injuries. Stone Garrett, as we know, they don't have Candelario anymore. Was Lane Thomas out too the other night, or did he play? Yep. Yeah, he's playing tonight. He is playing tonight. So but he was out yesterday. So another guy that usually does damage against lefties wasn't in their lineup. So, feisty team, but Perez, we know, can be a stud. 2 guys I went to, Michael Wacha. Again, I know last start wasn't the best against Milwaukee. We all had high hopes for him. Randomly decided to walk 5 guys. He gave up a home run, and he didn't do much for us. But before then, he was really good coming off the IL. 23 and 22 fantasy points, 10-1, 9-9, 9-8. Now he's $8,300. Like, I feel like we should be taking a peek at Michael Wacha here against the Giants. And then below him, you like the strikeout prop on Keller. I like him tonight as well. Wrote him up in the playbook here. The Pirates, despite being on the road, are minus 115 favorites on the money line tonight. Keller's plus 140 to get a win. I get that St. Louis has, Goldschmidt and Arenado and some scary bats in that lineup, but Keller's sort of back on the upswing about how he started this year. He's had some double-digit striker games lately. I think this is a good spot at 8K for Keller.
Michael Wacha might be the most disrespected pitcher in baseball this year. I mean, dude, 10-2 with 2.84 ERA. I know there's been an IL stint in there, but what if Michael Wacha makes 25 starts and he has a sub-3 ERA? We're just gonna poo-poo the season. I don't know.
I get it. Hasn't been like a huge strikeout guy. Even against San Francisco, had a 0 strikeout game, but that feels more of like an anomaly than anything else. So I'm willing to go some Wacha here tonight at 83.
Yeah, and it's been a lot more good than it's been bad. I mean, outside that 0 strikeout game, you look every start over 4 strikeouts since May 9th. So I'm okay walking, and I love Mitch Keller tonight.
Under that grouping here, anybody for you? Sandoval feels like a guy that could be getting some love against Oakland tonight at $7,200. And then we talked about it on the show this morning, and I got to get your rostership updates here. Where are the people on Ryu in Colorado?
Okay, so not many people are pitching Hyunjin Ryu. He's less than 1% roster, so nobody's playing him. The field is definitely in on Los Angeles Angels Oakland pitching. Not the pitcher that we thought.
They like JP
Patrick
Sears?
Sandoval, but yeah, like Sandoval and Sears are pretty close in ownership. But the field is definitely getting to JP Sears tonight. And I think my only I agree on the tone in your said it all, really. Like, that says it all. I think what it is none of those, like, the Angels just let everybody
pitchers go.
Renfro's gone.
Yeah.
Well, Renfro's gone.
Grichuk's still there.
I guess Grichuk stayed. So Grichuk still exists. Yeah, he still exists. Yeah, I guess it's not like
can hit left-handed pitching in that lineup.
That different. Yeah, and Sears is coming off some bad outings. I mean, dude, he's allowed 13 earned runs and 5 home runs in his last 2 starts. One of those starts came against the White Sox. I agree. I'm not saying I'm getting to Sears. Yeah, I'm not getting to him. I'm just telling you that the field is. So maybe we're playing some. I'm gonna get ahead of myself. They were playing.
Listen, I
We're
was
playing some
already
Angels.
playing Rengifo once I lost all my value today. I can be talked into playing
Sure,
Drury
sure.
now as well. That's totally
Right,
totally
right.
on the board. Now I mean, obviously Otani would have to be your big stack there, but I'm down with a little sprinkle of some Angels here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly fine full fading Sears and not looking back. Like, if that's a reason why you lose on a 14 game slate, by all
Yeah,
means,
sure. JB Spears
you
is
know,
out there,
tip
seven
of the
innings,
cap.
3 hits, 11 Ks. Fine.
You move
Congratulations.
on to Saturday.
Not for me though.
Right, right. I do
Yeah.
like Sandoval though. I would say I do like him on the flip side, especially with knowing that he's getting less ownership. He's had a pretty good ceiling. Like the floor has now the ceiling and the floor discrepancy is crazy, but like the ceiling
Yeah. I'm
is
a little
is
discouraged about his
GPP.
strikeout numbers against Oakland. I thought they would be better, but he is averaging 18 fantasy points in 2 starts against them. Got wins in both, but only 7 Ks in 12 innings
Yep,
feels like it should be higher for Sandoval there. But I'm
sure.
willing to continue to go. He had a 7 innings with 5 Ks, and then this first start of the year, 5 innings with 2 strikeouts. So maybe we give him a little bit of a pass on the opening start of the year there. But like Geloff, as hot
Yeah.
as he was, has really
Yep.
started to cool off now, and he wasn't really hitting left-handed pitching as well, anyway. So willing to run out some Patrick Sandoval here for sure. And as I mentioned, I am pitching Ryu in my lineups tonight. He's a very good pitcher, as we touched upon. He's been very good since he's come back. In one start with more than 2 earned runs allowed. Couple of starts with 0 earned. I got a little lucky with 2 unearned runs there. I know he's only gone 5, and that could just be by design. I think we talked about this last time, where you know hit 5 innings, they pulled him at 70 pitches in a game that they were up. So, so
Right.
at some point they probably extend him a little bit, but at 6,300, if he's going to give me 18 with a ceiling of 26 in 5 innings, I'm for it. So I'd be willing to get there at 63 because we do want to spend up for some bats tonight.
Yeah, and look, we said it on the podcast. The guy was a runner-up in Cy Young and third place finisher in
Mhm.
Cy Young before Tommy John, right? Like he was as good as it gets. The Blue Jays needed pitching and they went out and got a guy who was
Mhm.
decent and then had Tommy John, right? Like it is what it is, and he's getting obviously back into form. I'm I'm interested considering it's 1%. The 1% doesn't surprise me, John, because it is cores and there are 28 teams on the slate. But it is an
Yeah,
interesting
I agree
1%.
with you. All right, let's move on over to the catcher position here and talk about where we want to go. Now, usually on a slate like this, we have plenty of value options that we could look to target, but I have to assume, as we figured last night, is the field getting to the Blue Jays catchers here this evening?
Yeah, the Blue Jays are, I mean, higher owned than everybody. Danny
Yeah,
Jansen is the one in the lineup tonight. He is. Let's see. He is.
yeah.
So here's the ownership. Ready? Danny Jansen, Connor Wong,
So
endless. Like
75% playing Danny Jansen.
half the field. Yeah, half the field is playing Jansen and Wong, and then everyone else is being sprinkled in pretty much everywhere else. So, and
Yeah.
I can't say I blame anyone for the Jansen thing, given
And
the
he's
sheer
actually hitting
power the
well. This
guy
isn't a
has.
spot where it's like, oh well, he's got a lot of
Yes.
power, but he's hitting 175. He's not Jack Swinsky right now. He's hitting 300 with 1,000 OPS. So yeah, that just feels like an auto plug for me at catcher today. Like I'll ride the field. I do like some other possible spots to go. I think Furman is interesting at 3,300 against Paxton. If you're not a believer in Paxton, there could possibly get some action there for value today.
Yeah, I mean, look, Paxton, Paxton, as you've said a lot today, you said it, or you said it last night and this morning on the podcast. Paxton's slowing down, and the numbers are suggesting that too against right-handed bats over the last 30 days, John. 321 ISO allowed,
Yeah.
434 WOBA allowed. It's almost 100 plate appearance sample. And obviously, this is a guy with 300 plate appearance sample against righties this year, and the numbers are better. But 1/3 of that is, a sizable sample for us to pull data from. And
Yeah.
he's slowing down, as you've mentioned. He's been oft injured in his career. Although he's good, like 150 innings was the most he's ever thrown. So we're approaching 100 innings. It's getting to the dog days of summer. And the Royals do have some good bats against lefties. Fermin is one of them. 222 ISO, 322.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming to. I mean, he missed all of last season through 0 innings. He threw 1 inning in 2021. He threw 20 innings in 2022. He's up to 94 innings right now. So in the last 3 years, he's thrown 21 and 2/3 innings. Not including this year.
Not including this
year. It would not shock me if all of a sudden his arm is getting worn down, especially as a guy that is 34 years old, right?
Right. That's the key, right? And that's probably the key, that he's not doing that at 27. Like he hasn't missed 3 years at 27. He's missed 3 years at 34, which in pitcher, I mean, that's like a running back at hitting 30, right? Like you're on.
What's our
not getting many contracts.
Humidity looking like in Kansas City today too? Let's see what we got for a temperature there. We got 89, 87, 86 with 35% humidity and higher as the night moves on. So, again, just feels like it's going to be a little struggle bus for James Paxton there. So I do like Furman tonight going there as well. Any other catchers on your radar tonight?
Yeah, we don't have an Arizona lineup, but
sure.
Obviously Gabe Moreno gets Cole Irvin. Cole Irvin doesn't miss bats. Moreno does nothing but hit lefties well. And honestly, little power surge lately for Moreno. 3 home runs since his return. He only came back 8-13. So I would definitely punt with Moreno. And I will give a shout to Connor Wong because he does have pop. He is in a good stretch right now. 323, 960 OPS over his last 10 games. So if I were punting, it'd be Wong or Moreno. But,
Connor Wong or Martin Mike Piazza Maldonado. Where do you go?
Hey, it's a great point. It is a great point. He gets a lefty. That's the only time you can play Martin Maldonado is against a lefty. But hey, man, 11 home runs.
In the last 10 games, he's hitting 290 with an 829. So,
well, let's pump the brakes on the. We know that's going to be 200 in a matter of time, but
it's hot right now.
No, I know.
He's got Carlos Rodon pitching. That guy's garbage. Yeah. So, good investment there by the Yanks. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? The future is bright, and it starts today. Okay, John.
I got an Angels lineup here. Let's take a little peeks. Rengifo hitting second, Ohtani third, Drury fourth. Love that. Moustakas, O'Hoppe, poor man Grichuk out there still.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask, what do you think he feels right
Probably
now?
upset.
Like, how does he feel?
I mean, to be fair, the Guardians claimed everybody else. It's not like they're doing anything either. So, and the Reds claim people. Moniak and then Paris is that shortstop. I don't even know who that is. So,
2019 second round draft pick. He had 44 stolen bases at AA this year.
Oh, Min Price called up today and hitting ninth. So
he also only hit 255 at AA.
But he's fast.
So. Yeah, but Astoria Ruiz is fast, and he hasn't scored a lot of fantasy points lately.
He did the other day.
Sure,
all right. Let's go to first base here. Again, you can play a lot of these top guys, but why wouldn't you just play Vladdy? Right? If not today, when for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Coors against Chris Flexen?
I don't disagree. But also,
if not today, when?
I'm just look. There's 2 Blue Jays first basemen. One of them,
your own belt.
One of them has been good. One of them has been, average. I would say from their standards.
Beginning of the year, what would have been the home run spread you would have given Brandon Belt to Vlad Guerrero? Would you given him
15?
Plus 15? You would have given him
Probably.
plus 15, yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
I mean,
yeah,
Vladdy hit what 40, hit like 45 in the MVP,
yeah,
right? In his
yeah.
MVP year. Like, and not to say Belt can't, because he's probably missed out on a bunch of 30 home run seasons just
Playing in San Francisco.
playing in San Francisco. But like, Belt has been good over the last couple months. Look, I'm not saying don't play Vladdy. I'm just saying I'd also consider playing Brandon Belt if you need the salary, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
that's not
there's
to say you can't play with Tani Freeman and Olsen. You can.
sure.
Bryce Harper's been as hot as anybody in baseball. Again, there's a lot of guys that you can throw into the like hottest hitter in baseball category right now, because there are a lot of guys that are just smoking baseballs. But Bryce Harper's one of them. Hit his 300th career home run the other night. 6 homers now on the last 10 games. Gets Peralta here. I mentioned Vladdy. I like Casas at 4,300 against Lyles. Feels pretty good in the mid tier. You mentioned Belt at $4,200 also. Could be a spot. You have Bell against Irvin at 37. O'Hearn against Davies at 35 feels pretty good, because Ryan O'Hearn just keeps on hitting. Hasn't stopped. Chanel is leading off still. If you needed to go there at 33, you could. Andrew Vaughn is someone I have in the playbook tonight at $3,100. Again, only a few guys Rodriguez should worry about power wise in that White Sox lineup. Vaughn against lefties is one of those guys at $3,100. Could be all some value plays at first tonight.
The Nolan Chanel, Chanel, not doing it for me. I would say out of the bunch, I know he's leading off, but he hasn't looked good against lefties. I know Sears has actually. You know what? I take it back. Sears has actually been terrible against lefties this year.
And Chanel's actually guy was drafted this year. He's hitting 300 with an 800 OPS.
Dude,
so,
it is. And you think this is going to be he's the gateway. He's the gateway drug into all these franchises in just doing this. Like, if Paul Skeens hadn't gotten blown up in his first AA start, he'd probably be like pitching
for Pittsburgh.
Like it's probably gonna be, if he continues to just like be good. Like, he's the test subject, right? It's like baseball's implemented all this stuff. They implemented all the rules this year for baseball, but it's been implemented in the minors, right? They're just gonna keep moving the goalpost. He's okay. 253 ISO allowed, 398 WOBA to lefties. Oh, by the way. So I was gonna
look at all the runs he's scoring. He's just scoring. He's got 11 runs scored already. Like, he just, but I agree with you. I mean, some of these guys also, we talk about all the time, as other positions and sports that we like to watch. These kids are coming into the game like game ready. We talk about the NBA. Every year now, the NBA is full of rookies that are just ready to start, ready to play, because now these kids are in these camps for the time they're 5. Red Sox perspective here, Kyle Teal was drafted. He's hitting 400 still and 1,000 OPS, which is like, just move him up. Like, what's the point of having him spend time in rookie ball, right? Like, he's clearly better than what the competition. And the Angels are like, this dude isn't getting out, so let's just keep challenging him until he does. Oh, we'll call him up, see what he does. And
he isn't getting out.
So.
He wasn't getting out.
I know. Wasn't getting out. So they're like, well, let's give him a test. So I like Nolan again. Chanel here at $3,300, even against Sears, feels pretty good. So first base has some pretty good options, but again, Vladdy's your chalk. For me, I go Casas over Belt, but I get going Belt if you want that course exposure. And then I like a couple of the value guys down here, Chanel and Vaughn, down in the spot.
Agreed. I agree on the value plays.
First base. Second base, Mookie Betts.
So speak about actual hot dude. He's like, there's like a handful of guys that are actually like having out of body experiences. This is different though. Like, dude, what the is going on? What is going on? Like, the Acuna Grand Slam yesterday, and then Betts is like, sorry, buddy.
Acuna getting married before the game.
I did see that. I don't know if you saw the backstory behind it.
I did.
Very cool backstory behind it. And then just like casually, like, let me tip of the little cherry on top there, and get a Grand Slam in the evening. And then Mookie's like, you know what? Anything you can do, I'll just do better. And then or Betzer.
Double dongs. Yeah, Betzer. Got it. Nailed it. hit an opposite field home run off Spencer Strider. So just is kind of like
I don't know. Did you see it hit Acuna's glove as well?
Yeah, I hit the thing. So DePrince, you're late. You missed everything.
Dude, what the heck, DePrince?
We're 30 minutes into the show, my friend. Here. We like Verlander. Just play Verlander on FanDuel today. That'll be your spot. He's cheaper than Keller on FanDuel, so plug Verlander. I like Ryu in the value tier, but we also like Sandoval in the value tier. Sandoval, I think, is in the 8Ks, and I think Ryu's in the 7 on FanDuel. So go there for pitching. Otherwise, we're playing Blue Jays.
Yes, sir.
Blue Jays and Angels. Blue Jays and Angels so far. That's where we're in on. We're on second base. We talked about bets. You could go Altuve against Rodon again. I think Rodon in Houston is a pretty interesting pivot stack tonight, going off of Toronto here. Rodon's been terrible. I think you can go ahead and get the Altuve stack there going. Atlanta against Urias is kind of interesting. Julio Urias we know can be a good pitcher. This year he's been and Atlanta is just, it's Atlanta. They score on everybody. So if you want to go Albies there, you could. But as I mentioned earlier, I think that the mid-tier, you have Brendan Drury at $4,300. Like, I was very attracted to that spot. And you have Davis Schneider here at 48 as well. Two guys that I think you can lock in on under 5K.
Yeah, and Drury coming alive here. Big game last night. 3 multi-hit games over his last 5, 7 RBIs over that span, and he hits lefties well. This year, not so much, but we talked about it like every podcast last year when Brendan Drury stepped up to the plate against a lefty, he looked like Babe Ruth. I mean, he had a 312 ISO and a 401 WOBA, and it got him traded, right?
And he kept hitting with the Giants. Is that
the Padres?
Yeah. So
one of their 1,000 moves that really worked out for them.
Did not. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's hitting in a really good spot in this lineup, and dude, Chenal is always on base. Rengifo has been scorching hot. Ohtani exists in the world. Like, there's a lot of run producing opportunity, and there's no surprise that he has 7 ribbies in his last 5 games.
Right. Yep, I agree with you 100%. So I'm going there, and again, I mean, Toronto. Just you can play
Toronto.
I mean, Davis Schneider has just been. We made jokes about him. I made the first.
You made jokes about him.
I said, "Who is Davis Schneider?" And all he's done is hit 400 with a 1,400 OPS since. Well, it was it was a 26th round pick, and they're just like, he keeps hitting. So another guy that we'll just call up and see what he can do. And nobody has gotten goggles out. So
joke's still flowing. Still
going. Rengifo 39. Again, if you don't want to play Drury, you can play Rengifo at second, but he's also shortstop eligible. But now we have Paris, the mint price shortstop. So maybe Rengifo is your second baseman off of Drury if you want. He's been just as good. And again, another guy that's hitting 500. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's so many great hitters going on right now in baseball. I think the balls must be juiced. They must have juiced the balls again, right?
They juiced them, yeah.
We looked at Mookie Betts, and you're like, he's a great player in baseball. And then we'll go look at Acuna, he's like, he's a great player in baseball. And then we get to like Adam Duvall, who's hit 8 home runs in 11 games, hitting just as well as anybody. It's like maybe Adam Duvall is the greatest player in baseball. Who knows? They're all doing the same damn thing. So Rengifo at 39 if you want to go there for a little bit of a value play certainly works. If you're not in Ryu, you got Rogers and Coors against a lefty at 34. Our guy Jaewon Bay is leading off tonight at $3,300. We potentially could be in there as well. So some decent value options at second.
Yeah, and a lot of the field getting to Jaewon Bay after the Toronto guys. So I think Bay stands out to me as the best value on the board. I would look, if you're not playing Ryu, I would obviously consider Brendan Rodgers down here as well, because he has, if there's 2 things Brendan Rodgers has done, he's hit well at home and he hits well against lefties. That's what he's done since. He doesn't do anything else really, but again,
I mean, even this year,
right.
314 average, 819 OPS at home, 140 on the road. So
loves Colorado.
Hitting 218 on the season, you're like, oh man, this guy sucks. It's like, oh no, 8 games at home, he's been unstoppable. So,
yep, that would be my other value other than Bay.
Okay. Third base here. Faisal, I see your question on Jeremy Pena. We'll touch upon that in a moment when we get to shortstop. Austin Riley is your top guy there at $5,800. Rafi Devers is in a great spot at 56. Bregman against Rodon at 55. You have Gunnar third and short eligible at 5,500 against Davies, which feels pretty strong as well. So pretty solid spend up spot at third base if you wanted to go in that direction.
Yeah, let's see what we got for ownership, because this is the first time I think no one from Toronto, I guess, the field wants to play Ernie Clement. I guess that's a thing tonight, John, because Ernie Clement is the Blue Jays starting third baseman. I assumed. I mean, like I get he's been good, but I assumed that people weren't getting to him. People getting to Devers, that's for sure. They're attacking Jordan Lyles, which I think.
Yep.
What is your, now that we're 3 games into the post wrist injury for Devers? Are we? Yeah. Has there been talk in the Boston area about it? Because he's 1 for his last 12.
Yeah, no one's talked about it. Obviously, some tough matchups, right? Dodgers, Houston.
Sure.
I mean, could be a little bit to do with it, but no one's
slowed the ball down, John.
No one's talked about it.
Okay. Well, he is the highest rostered third baseman tonight. And Gunner's right there. Clement's there. Jake Berger, after going yard last night, he's there as well.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of spend ups, though, like, I would say I'm not so much on Devers, even though I should be probably with the Lyles thing. I'm just obviously a little worried about the wrist. 1 for his last 12 after a wrist injury is not great. I would probably spend up on Bregman or Gunner for me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. For sure there. In the mid-tier range, Michael Garcia is 45. Feels a little bit pricey, but again, if you're not in on Paxton, it would certainly make sense. He's hit lefties really well. Brian Hayes at $4,400, another guy that just keeps being good, 357, 1,000 OPS. As we talked a lot on the show, a couple of years ago, he's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. Obviously struggled to adjust initially here, but second half of this year, since the All-Star break, he's been really keyed in.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not interested in Dakota Hudson, and Dakota Hudson doesn't miss a lot of bats, I can see getting to Brian Hayes. If you look at Hudson's splits this year, he's actually been worse against righty bats. 196 ISO allowed, 348 WOBA allowed.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Value third baseman. You mentioned Clement already.
Would you play him?
Probably. I mean, I don't think anybody in Coors is off limits here, so I would probably get there.
What is the ceiling, do you think Ernie Clement can score?
I mean, probably would have gave you in. Just give you 10 fantasy points. You're in Coors. I don't see why you can't do that. He probably doesn't homer, but a couple of hits, run scored, hitting at the bottom of that lineup, he swings back around. There's Vladdy, there's Springer, there's that whole crew waiting to drive him in.
Okay. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just asking what
I'm not like saying he's my number one guy, right. But like if you're not looking to spend up at third because you want to play Mookie Betts at second and Gunner at short or something today, then you got to find a way to spend down at third. Why not get the Coors?
Would you play Longo?
No.
3K gets lefty.
He's washed.
Even against lefty, you don't think there's anything?
I think he's done. Okay. Shortstop. I mean, Bobby Witt's the cover of the playbook today, so
he's a good baseball player.
He's a good baseball player.
I don't know who Bobby Witt is. I only know him as Bobby
W. Bobby W. Jr. BWJ can get tattooed on me. BWJ. People are like, what's that for? It's like
make sure that you include the W, please.
Yes, that's true.
Don't forget the W, please.
Won't forget the W.
Don't forget.
If I forget the W, I'll have to add the R at the end, I guess. And like, oh, it's Bobby Jr.
Bobby Jr.
BJR. Anyways, I get the 205 last 10. I'm not really worried about that. I'm keying in on this matchup against James Paxton because again, I think James Paxton's arm might be dead. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot on a guy that's been hitting lefties all season long. And Bobby Witt's been that guy. So Bobby Witt Jr. 6,100. Gunner, as we've talked about, is fine. Trey Turner, if you want to test the Freddie Peralta experience, you could go there too. Trey Turner is another guy that is just figure it out. That he is, found his form from the World Baseball Classic. So
Captain America's back.
Yep.
Yeah, I would throw Seager in that mix too. I know Joe Ryan looked good in his start, but before Joe Ryan was in, was pretty bad in that stretch of games pre-injury. So I'd play any of the top shortstops. Sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Moving down into the mid-tier range, here's Jeremy Pena. To answer your question, I am willing to play Jeremy Pena because, hey, another guy that's
This is
getting
unfair.
Yeah.
What is going on? What is this?
Yeah, listen, I think Carlos Rodon sucks. So I'm good with Jeremy Pena at 4,100. The guy was the World Series MVP last year. So, if you want to run out Jeremy Pena, by all means, works for me. At the mid-tier range, would you get to Crawford against Senga?
Dude, he's good. He's just a good baseball player. I think it doesn't hurt.
J-Rod's playing tonight, so
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have J-Rod hitting behind you either, right? So, yes, I would.
Okay. Value tier, you have Rengifo, which is where I was going at shortstop tonight. But again, we just talked about it. And I'll give it a little bit of a refresh as well. But quite a few value plays down here. But Paris is hitting, called up and hitting 9th for the Angels tonight. So 44 steals and 14 homers at Double-A. I'm willing to give him a peek here against JP Sears because JP Sears is not, I repeat, he is not a good pitcher.
He isn't?
No.
Rats.
In fact, he's very bad. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. If you are new to the show, welcome in. Appreciate you all tuning in. Give us a little like and subscribe. Help boost up the channel. Plus, you get notifications whenever we do go live. We have more than just a fantasy baseball DFS show on the channel. We have a billion fantasy football shows. Fantasy football season right around the corner. And then, of course, James and I cover NBA DFS. So if NBA DFS is your jam, you can hang with myself and Grande during the basketball season as well to break it all down for you guys. Outfield. Again, we talk about guys that are just best stretches of the world here. Acuna, 400, 1,000 OPS.
It is just, what is going on?
Mookie Betts. Aaron Judge double-donged the other day. I know he's only got 100, but five homers in the last 10 for him. J-Rod's in the lineup, 596, 1,600 OPS the last 10 games. Tucker against a lefty, he's been like killing them, and Rodon's actually struggled against lefties. 7 earned runs, 3 home runs allowed, and 6 2/3 cumulative innings pitched against left-handed hitters for Rodon. That's not good. That's not what you're looking for. Jordan 381, 1,000 OPS. So yeah, pick your poison. Corbin Carroll 400, 1,200 OPS against Jake Urban. Like, yep.
Baseballs are juiced. I don't know what else to say.
As I'm saying, everybody is hitting. Everybody is hitting. So pick any of these guys, except for maybe the Padres, and you're probably gonna get production tonight.
Probably. I agree. Yes.
Luis Robert was Servo's home run call against Eddie Rodriguez. Mentioned the righty numbers against Flexton. Springer's at 51 here. Adam Duvall, $4,900, 462, 1665, 7 homers, 15 RBI. Yeah, we built the lineup, and it's been great. I with Duvall in there, I would have no problem going back to Duvall here, against Kansas City and Jordan Lyles. Ryan tuning in here, appreciate you asking us, do we think about Paxton? Yeah, I think his arm's dead. He's only thrown 20 1/3 cumulative innings over the last 3 seasons, not counting this year. He's 34. He's up to 90. What do we say? 90 and a half, 91 innings.
I think it's almost 96 innings.
96 innings pitched, something in that range. So I'm worried about it. It's going to be hot and humid in KC. Not a spot I'm looking to go with him tonight. And then we have Blankenhorn hitting second tonight. Do you have any interest going there tonight? Blankenhorn hitting 5th, sorry.
No. It's literally, he's not a prospect. I know he was good in AAA.
I mean, 877 OPS, 23 homers, but you're in on Yuri Perez.
I'm also, we're welcome in, everybody. I know you're all showing in late. Welcome in. Happy Friday.
Yeah, PJIF. Everybody's getting a little late start to the DFS slate. That's fine, no problem. We got a whole playbook out there. Yep. If you're not already a Fantasy Alarm member, you can get in our premium Discord and get your questions in there, or you continue to throw them in the chat. More than happy to go over them as we continue to break down the outfield spot. If you looked at the playbook, James, and you and I talk about it sometimes, you try to really siphon down the players we want in the core plays section. It's a 14-game slate, and every outfielder is hitting 500. So there's a lot of outfielders in the playbook today. A lot of outfielders in the playbook today. DePrince, hit us up in Discord. I'll give you a Colby has the PrizePicks video out. Go to the Fantasy on YouTube. Check out the PrizePicks video there on the Fantasy on YouTube. Colby put out 2 plays today. You can check that out there. There's just a lot of outfielders. A lot of outfielders can go. Duvall was in there. Ozuna against Urias, I was in on. Kerry Carpenter's been super hot at $4,600. Verdugo is playing and leading off at $4,500. It's a big fan of that play here this evening. Cal Quantrill is pitching tonight for Cleveland. Josh Lowe has been unreal lately. 419, 1,000 OPS. Shocker, right? Another guy that is just on fire. So there's just a boatload of players in the 4K range that you can play. It's a ton of guys in the under 4K range that you can play tonight. So outfield it's just loaded, man.
Yeah, Varsho under 4K. Grishik back in the lineup, crushing lefties, hitting 7th. Yep. Jaquan Bay, you could play in the outfield. I mentioned to you last night, Parker Meadows.
Yeah, 3,200.
He's got a little speed, a little power. I mean, dude, DJ freaking Stewart is the best player. Might have won a batting title / MVP if he played every day. I mean,
another guy that over the last 10 games is hitting 360 with a 1,200 OPS. It's wild. The number of guys that are hitting the ball like this. So
they're juiced.
I think they're juiced. Jasson Dominguez is 2K. Would you give him a look tonight?
He's a good baseball player. Yeah, and probably not against Verlander. This weekend I will be playing.
What's his better split? Switch hitter. What's his better split? Do we know?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
I'll look it up. But I do not know off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's fine. So again, there's a lot of options in the outfield tonight to build some lineups. But we want to get cores, right? We want to figure out a way to get cores exposure here this evening. Where's Kevin Pillar? What was his price at? Did I pass by him? Is he even playing tonight? 3K. Kevin Pillar's 3K against Julio Urias. So probably in the lineup, given the lefties matchup for him there. As we talked about, Urias down to $7,800, over 4 ERAs last 10 starts there. So could be a stackable spot using the Atlanta Braves.
Dominguez has hit 12 of his 15 home runs this year from the left side.
Okay, so it is the right split for him for power numbers. Yep. But Verlander, again, not a guy that's been giving up too many homers, just 11 in 21 starts this year after a couple of years ago giving up a boatload of home runs. So.
Dominguez is very fast as well, like very fast, 39 stolen bases. So, there's that. If he gets on, it's not just power, he's probably going.
Sure.
Yeah, he's probably going.
All right, Call of Fame here. We got a couple of minutes left in the show today. We'll give out our home run calls. What do you got?
Brandon is gonna belt one tonight, John. We're gonna go back to the last time I used Blue Jay Brandon belt. He went yard, so we're gonna go back to that well.
All right. Last time I was on the Better Sports Betting Show, I gave Bobby Witt at plus 600 Andy Holmberg, so I will go back to Bobby Witt today, as I did on the Better Sports Betting Show at plus 500 today to Homer. So Bobby Witt to cover the playbook. I'll call him as my home run call today as well. Top stack we know is Toronto. What's your next lineup build?
I'm gonna go with the Angels. I think you and I are pretty lockstep there. I think the Angels are a really nice stack especially with JP Sears getting ownership, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Angels.
I am very much interested in stacking against JP Sears. I would agree with you. Going with the Angels. I also think Houston against Rodon is a great spot tonight as a pivot from that group. What's your value play tonight?
Value play of the night. I like Patrick Sandoval, $7,200. If you want me to go like even lower.
No, Sandoval's good. Sandoval's good. I'm gonna go Rengifo at 39.
That was gonna be my pivot was Rengifo if you didn't allow Sandoval.
Well, I'll allow it. That's fine. Which means I guess we're pitching Sandoval here then.
Sorry. I mean, I'll pivot if we don't feel like using
Sandoval, Verlander, catcher. I guess we're gonna go Jansen here, or do we want to go Moreno?
Let's go. Do we have we don't have a lineup yet for We could just go Jansen. Let's go with Chalk.
Trying to see
Chalk monster.
We'll
Play Rengifo. Do you want to play Rengifo at short and get Drury at second?
Sure. Let's see what we can. I was going to see if we could fit Paris.
Paris.
No, let's see. I'm down. Gotta spell his name right though. Shortstop, Rengifo, Drury at second.
Grishik is a cheap outfielder. I mean, I just don't know if we're going to play Angels.
No, we're good. I want to try to get Springer.
Okay.
Springer is 51. So it's 33 for 2 outfielders. We had some under 3K outfielders that we like. Stewart. Would you go Stewart against Gilbert? Probably, right?
Gilbert does give up some home runs. If we wanted to complete the Blue Jay stack too, we could play Ernie Clement at third, who's $2,600.
Actually, you know what? Yes, let's do that because we need to find some money to save. So I'm good. 37.50.
I mean, dude, it lines up to do. I don't know if you see it, but it's a full game stack right in front of our face, or it's a full stack. It's a 4x4 right in front of our face.
I'm good. Is that what we have? We have full Toronto, full LA. I'm down with it.
We have a 5-man Toronto, 3-man LA.
Get your core stack and then get your contrarian Angels, right? Like, isn't that the way to go?
Yeah.
Does the Angels coordinate? That's okay. We'll live with it, But I'm down. I'm down to go with it. Of course, if we don't want a Jansen, we can pivot down to Moreno and spend up from somebody different, get a more expensive outfielder there. So fit Duvall in or something. So but I like it. I like what we got here. We got Sandoval, Verlander, Jansen, Guerrero, Drury, Clement, Rengifo, Springer, Grichuk, and Varsho here, giving you the 5-man core stack for Toronto, giving you the 3-man LA stack with Drury, Rengifo, and Grichuk in your lineup. Playbook's out. We'll be in the Discord. Find us in there. Good luck, everybody. Have a nice weekend. I'll be back next week. James is going to be off for a little bit. Got some cool things going on for Grande. It's my birthday tomorrow, too, so don't forget to wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Johnny. Have a great weekend. Have a great birthday weekend, brother.
Thanks. We'll catch you guys later. Good luck tonight. Let's go make some money, friends.